As human organisms, this human organism speaking, has learned that no matter where you are in the world, what you believe, what gender you are, what color you are, every human organism shares the same technology of the mind. And there's an element of that technology that can make you live as the walking dead. It can kill your connection to life, to the sacred, and to the presence of God, and to the full workings of the organism. When that technology is overcome, the opposite happens, and you awaken into the vibrance of life, the peace, the joy of that persistent bursting forth of love within you. I'd like us to walk together a little bit through that and see if I can walk you to recognizing that element of the technology as I did. Why is that technology of the mind there? Why is that part of the human mind there? Many of our ancient cultures have called it a fall. Something happened that made that arise, and the fall was to fall from life, true life, into a state that many of us lived and live within, which is to die to the moment, to die to life. And to set yourself free from that is the enlightenment, the spiritual rebirth that Yeshua spoke of. I spent my childhood as this human organism speaking in this area of the world. And when I awoken from the program of the Matrix, whereby I believed thoroughly, as many do, that my name was John and I was an Englishman, I was staring at this ocean for months on end, alone, as something became unsettled in the human I am. The soul started to pull forward and take away the programs that were catching the awareness of the soul and diminishing it into this mere character with all of its problems. This persona, this self-image. What I noticed was that as I was staring at this, that prior to this time I would come here and I would look out and I would say, that's the ocean. That is a body of water. It's the sea, the North Sea in fact. I would come here, I would look upon that miraculous occurrence and I would say ocean. At that moment when I would, as you will and we all do, the technology of the mind in its arrogance says, I have sorted that. I know what that is. It's ocean. And this is the arrogant self-image. And this is the beginning of falling away. This is the technology making you fall, because you do not have to remain in a fallen state. Now if you come to that ocean and you look at it, and you don't allow the word ocean, you come to this here, this miraculous going on, which we have labelled and pointed at with the word ocean, we've pointed at with the word water, we've pointed at it. But when you choose not to bring the word to point, all of a sudden, something deeper starts to stir in the organism. A deeper energetic connection to that. And I don't want to give it a name. That miraculous occurrence that is sustaining life, filled with life, creating life up here, that moves between all different states that we have learned is conscious, but if you do not have science, as when they flash froze water to see the impact of emotion on water structure, you only recognize it's conscious by not labeling it, because in time what happens is the organism sees it and you begin to see it through the eyes of your heart. And in there you witness its mystery and its majesty and its sacredness. And that sacred connection comes when you come to this miracle behind me and you don't give it a label. The second you give it the label, the technology has taken you in your arrogance and separated you from that state whereby you enter the sacred union with it, the Eden state, the state of reverence, of respect and joy. For in that respect and joy of it, you find also the connection to something deeper within the human organism than mere words and labels and self-image. And I can stand there with all of that reverence and sacredness and wonder and majesty and say, what on earth is that? And the organism, the technology of it can go, it's the ocean. And the self-image and its arrogance will say, oh, that's what it is. As if it's organized it, it's sorted that. But it hasn't. And we do this with all things. We do it with other people, our family. We come to them and we say, this is that person that I have all of these memories of and an image of who they are. And if we come to them without silence, you see we come to them without that, with silence, we see something new. We see the light, the sacredness of the human organism in front of us. Worse still, we come to humans and we have this image that we see of them through the mind instead of witnessing. And we respond with an image within us that we hold, that we are around them. And so our true soul connection rarely gets an opportunity to move and connect. Because the technology of the mind, it has this within it. This want to arrogantly understand it all, to control it all, to know it all, to be the knower of knowledge. And because of that, we have built a type of society where we still continue to try to know all of these infinite little details without the sanity of the acceptance that we don't. And the irony is that when you look out at this ocean, this beautiful, majestic thing, and you accept that you don't know by seeing it without language, without memory, without knowledge, somehow you begin to know. Because when you do that, you begin the return to the presence of God. And there's great power there for a human organism. There's great power. When you come and you look at the ocean, look at it right now behind you, without any words. Stop pretending you know what it is, that you've been taught what it is. It's still a mystery. And look at it without language, without a label. without the arrogance of the technology of the mind claiming ownership of knowledge of it, of knowing what that is, of having that sorted. And as you do, you'll feel yourself getting lighter. And then you'll be able to transfer that, and you'll be able to look at the trees outside, or the leaves, or the grass, or the sky. And you will feel this deep connection arising the longer you look at it, with the technology not trying to box it. And you can play with that, you can look at it, you can feel the sacred connection rising, the reverence of it, the mystery, the wow. And then you can say, oh, there's the sky. And you will sense the change in energy. You will sense the death starting as you start to move into the fallen state. And the fallen state is a place of arrogance. It's a place of pride. It's a place of being the knower of things, the knower of knowledge. It doesn't accept that it has no idea. And in realizing you have no idea where you are, what's going on, you move into a space where the organism must surrender to the will of something else. Must surrender to the will, therefore, of that awakened state, which is where the presence and the voice of God is. You have to be sure that when you go through that spiritual rebirth, that the voice is God. It will be a voice of compassion, of charity. It will not worship the world. It will not have you profiteer from making others worship the world. It will be the voice that Yeshua spoke of. It will be the compassion Yeshua spoke of. The purity. But until you set yourself free from the chains of the fallen technology that makes you kill the moment by labeling everything as rapidly as it does, you will always struggle to find the lightness of spirit to live with that compassion. You will live training a self-image full of words, labels, tangled up in a religious identity, a spiritual identity, tangled up inside the words of it, the labels, the images, the stories, constantly tangled in it. And there you can have a Christian ego or a spiritual ego. But Yeshua wanted you to be a Christ more so, to be a son of God, a daughter of God. And that transforms the cells of the human organism when the ego is not present. And those spaces of consciousness where it is not trying to control, to understand, to analyze, it's where the rebirth comes, and it is where the lightness comes, and it is where the Christ itself can enter the cells of the body. The Christ itself can animate the intelligence and the actions of the body, that love. And the alternative is to train the mind, the self-image, with that's what it should be doing. And the two meld together to be a perfect union. But it begins with undoing that technology. It begins with looking at that and hearing no words, and therefore nothing inside you claiming ownership that it knows. And then you will use your words merely to point at it. But as you bring yourself to it and your family to it, the majesty will be known, the connection will be known, the heart-centered union with it will be known. And that's why we are destroying the planet and one another. Because we don't see one another. We see the image in our mind of one another, or we see the words we point at things with instead of the actuality. And so that deep connection that can happen energetically is halted before it goes any further. And we stay on this surface level of life, which is to be the walking dead. It is to live in the fallen nature. We'll leave that there. I awoke staring at this ocean. And I wish for everybody to awaken. Because there you meet the presence of God. I just want to take a brief moment of your time to share with you about an exciting project we have going with the charity until the end of the year. The project's name is 2000 Strong. It has gotten off to a great start and we thank those already involved. For those not involved, please stick around and hear why we are making this happen in the human story at this time. I'm going to give you an example of why our community is needed, why this solution is needed, and why 2000 Strong must manifest. This is Kelly. Kelly now lives safely in our community, in our village, in our family. However, when Kelly was found, her story was very different. Kelly had been starved to the point of near death. She had been burned and tortured by her father. This happened because in a society with very little education, in a society where superstition still surrounds things like disability, her father believed that her cerebral palsy was a demon and that he should fast this demon out of his daughter, that he should burn this demon out of his daughter. And of course, cerebral palsy is not a demon. It's a medical condition that needs to be cared for and nurtured, as we do at our children's village. Kelly now lives a good life. She's happy, she's full of joy, as it should have been all along. But Kelly is also one of the lucky ones, because there are a great many children out there who are still waiting to be found. 2000 Strong is a project to try and find 2,000 volunteers to fundraise a minimum of $100 each between now and New Year's Day. We say a minimum because if you go over, it may help. If we only get 1,000 volunteers or we fall short of 2,000, it's all welcome towards the goal. That money will be used to build stage 1 of a new village for special needs children in crisis, a village located a 10-hour drive away from our current location. When that village is done, it'll provide a whole solution for over 500 special needs children who are living in circumstances like this. At this time, I don't know of anyone else fighting for those children, and I can't do this without the resources I need. For whatever reason, you can hear my voice, and so I'm putting this out as a call to arms to help me to manifest this solution which is needed in our human story, as these children do not deserve to remain in the dark any longer. They need a safe, loving family home. 2000 Strong helps us to build stage 1 of that safe, loving family home and a permanent solution for the country of Tanzania forever. If you're interested, please visit www.sharetanzania.com/2000strong for more info, or you can reach out on any of our social media channels. Thank you for the love and support, guys. The work we do, the family we have, would not be possible without you.